All right. So I want to actually, before we get to the rest of the NFL, this is going to be a quick segment. Just because guys, I have to tell you, I've got nothing. I've got nothing for this team, and it's the team that I'm currently repping. It's the team that I'm currently wearing the clothing for. It's Michigan State. So I don't really want to talk that much about the vacated wins because I just think it's hilarious. It's like, oh wow, we're bad and we now had vacated wins. Like we couldn't even cheat right, basically. You know, we should have cheated harder like Michigan, and then maybe we wouldn't have to vacate wins. But Michigan State has not quietly, but maybe in a certain sense quietly, lost 7 straight games. Now, if this was the NBA or even the NHL or MLB, you could get away with a 7-game losing streak. Now, you wouldn't like it. It wouldn't be desirable. But you could basically say, all right, yeah, they can do that. You know, you can do that and your season can mostly be fine. You played 12 games in college and you lost 7 in a row. And with the vacated wins, Jonathan Smith actually does not have any Big Ten wins, technically. Now, of course, in reality, he does. When he beat Iowa last year, he beat Maryland last year. So he does technically have Big Ten wins. But you know, as far as the record books go, they're not there. And, you know, Michigan State has managed to do something that I didn't think was really possible. They managed to lose to 2 different teams who both, in this very season, have fired their head coach and brought in interim coaches that have not only beaten Michigan State, but beaten them senseless, beaten them silly. So they lose to Penn State this weekend. I didn't watch a single second of this game. And I got to be honest with you guys, I haven't watched a Michigan State football game since the Michigan game. And I didn't even really watch the whole game of that. I watched like the back end of that game. Before that, it was the Nebraska. When they lost to Nebraska, I was like, okay, that's it. I give up. I'm done. Like this team has no life. No life. There's nothing about this team that energizes me. And now they're going to go on the road to the 21st ranked team in the country, the Iowa Hawkeyes, and play them at 3:30. And you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to watch this game. And look, I am about as hardcore a Michigan State sports fan as you can get. I love Michigan State basketball. I got the Michigan State basketball game on right now. I'm obviously decked out in Spartan gear. I love Michigan State. And this program has managed to completely make me emotionless about it. Like, I don't even care that they've lost 7 in a row. I don't even care that they're going to lose 8 in a row. I don't even care that they might lose 9 in a row. It does not make me feel anything. Literally, I feel nothing. And if I feel anything, it's the urge to laugh. It's the urge to just look at them and just say, boy, golly, they really don't know what the hell they're doing. It's like grandma, like Weekend at Bernie's, basically, is running the team. You got a dead guy, essentially, running the team. And, you know, it makes things all the more worse because think of it this way. In the time that Michigan State has started Big Ten play, James Franklin has been fired from Penn State. They have gotten a new interim coach. And James Franklin has been hired for Virginia Tech. And in that time, Michigan State has not won a single game. And even worse than that, they've lost to Penn State. Michigan State went into this year going to play James Franklin. James Franklin loses his job. Michigan State loses to a James Franklin-less Penn State. And James Franklin subsequently gets a job at Virginia Tech. What do you say to that? What exactly do you say to that other than Jonathan Smith, you are fired? And that's what gets me is what exactly is it that a guy has to do to get fired around here? I mean, honest to goodness, does he really have to lose 9 in a row for Jay Blatt to say this guy has no pulse on the program and he's just not a good fit and he might not even be a good coach? I have no idea what a coach is supposed to do to get fired if losing 7 in a row is not enough in year 2. Not in year one, after you just took over a garbage program and you got no recruits, other than maybe some transfer guys that you brought in and you're trying to establish a culture, but you just don't have the talent. In a year where you still have no culture, you still have no talent, you've benched your starting quarterback from the beginning of the year because he's been so awful. Like, what does Michigan State have to do, or what does Jonathan Smith have to do to get fired? When UCLA was willing to fire their head coach, Penn State was willing to fire their head coach, LSU was willing to fire their head coach. I could go on. They're all willing to fire their head coaches. You know what Michigan State is not willing to do? Fire its head coach that has won nothing. That's what's even crazier. James Franklin, as much as I made fun of him and said he was a bum loser coach, he's won things, plural. He's won playoff games. He's won the Big Ten. He's had NFL level recruits. He was the number one ranked team in the country going into the year. They had some juice in their program. Jonathan Smith has literally none of that. He has no good recruits. He has no achievements. He's terrible. Absolutely terrible. And yet, he maintains employment. So I ask again, and that's pretty much the name of this segment. What does a guy got to do to get fired around here? Because I'm at a loss for words. Every week, it's like I ask my dad when I call him on Sunday, has the coach been fired yet? Nope. Too late. They should fire him before they get off the plane to Iowa. I'm assuming they take a plane. Iowa's pretty far from Michigan. So, I don't know. Because here's the thing. If Jay Blatt really is holding on to hope, what exactly does that look like? If we go out and we win 2 in a row to end the year, somehow, miraculously, we go 5-7, which is exactly what we were last year. That just means we made no progress, and we're at least as bad as we were last year. But I would argue we are fundamentally worse because we are now in year 2. And if you go 5-7 in year 1, you can potentially live with that in as much as you can bounce back into next year and be a bowl eligible team. We couldn't even do that. We're with that loss to Penn State, we officially are out of bowl eligibility. So it's crazy to me to think that we have a football team that genuinely can be good. And I have seen be good. And yet they act as though it doesn't exist. And I know, largely, historically, Michigan State has not been good. I understand. All the Michigan fans that might come upon this video and want to point out to me that Mark D'Antonio is the exception, not the rule. Understood. All of that is to say that if you can win at any point with Mark D'Antonio, like that, the fact that they won with Mark D'Antonio is evidence they can win, period. So, Jay Blatt, I don't know what kind of an athletic director you're going to be, but if you don't invest in this football program, and that means hiring a coach who is not incompetent, and that means investing money in this program to get an NIL program to, harvest teams in the transfer portal or harvest players in the transfer portal to get recruits, then you might as well just shut down the program and just be a full-on basketball school. I could live with that. They want to just put all of their money, into basketball. I would love to see another college basketball national championship. That'd be super. But I really would prefer a football one. But one thing's for sure. It ain't going to be with Jonathan Smith. No, it will not. Hey, YouTube, if you like clips like that, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. We've got live shows every Tuesday night. Hope to see you there.